Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-Minute Moan. The topic and the subject of this 10-Minute Moan is the story about the SNP activist who was so upset that the SNP members would have no input whatsoever into the leadership of the next SNP leader, that he put himself up for election, and now he's stood down so that the SNP members don't get any input into the selection of the new soon-to-be coronated leader, John Swinney. So, before I do that, just to tell you, if you want to support the channel, you can become a member, you can subscribe, that's free, or you can do the easiest thing and just click the thumbs up button at the bottom of any video. It does wonders for the reach. So, this story, I can't remember what night it would have been, a couple of 3 nights ago, got notified by someone on Twitter, ex-Twitter, formerly known as, and this thing was happening where this guy, who's a bit of an activist, called Graeme McCormick. Yep, McCormick. He was really upset that, democracy wasn't being applied in the SNP, whereby, because nobody was standing against John Swinney, the members didn't get any input, members didn't get to ask him any questions, and he was just due his coronation after 12 o'clock Monday noon, if he was uncontested. So what this guy done was he went to the Saturdays, I believe, independence rally, and went round everybody with leaflets looking to get the support he would need so that he could stand, not thinking he was going to win, but at least he could stand, and then they would go through the proper process of hustings, etc., where the members could get to quiz any potential leader of their party exactly what their plans were. That seemed to be his main driver. So he set off on Saturday with a load of leaflets, and he found the support needed, which is 100 people proposing you out of at least 20 different areas within the SNP party. And he done that, apparently achieved that. So they were all set to have an actual election process. Not so this guy could win, but so this guy could give the members what he felt was a democratic right of questioning anybody who was going to take on the leadership role of his party. Seems fair to me. So, what happened next? Now, loads of papers are covering this morning. I'm just going to go with the Edinburgh News one because it was the first one that showed up on my Google. And they have went with the headline, SNP leadership activist pulls out of the race, giving John Swinney clear run. Nominations for the next SNP leader closed today. SNP activist Graeme McCormick has ended his bid to become the next leader of the party and has given his full support to John Swinney, who is now the only official candidate. Mr McCormick, who has made a last-minute bid for the leadership, said he would not proceed with his nomination and would instead support Mr Swinney, meaning the Perthshire North MSP is the likely candidate to replace Humza Yousaf in the top job and set to become the First Minister of Scotland. Mr McCormack told the PA news agency that he had met the thresholds for the party rules, but after a lengthy and fruitful conversation with Mr Swinney, he decided to instead give his full support to him. There you go. Mr McCormack wrote, John and I agreed the challenges which the SNP, our government and our people face, and explored new thinking on a range of issues, which I am confident, as they are advanced, will inspire activists both within the SNP and the wider independence movement in the following weeks and months. This is a fresh start for our members and our politicians, and I am sure that John's determination to deliver independence will be rewarded at the forthcoming general election. Okay, I have therefore concluded that I shall not proceed with my nomination for party leader, but instead support John Swinney's nomination for party leader and First Minister. Well, that's absolutely fantastic, Graeme, because now your support for John Swinney will have zero effect because there will not be any competition for the First Leader's role, and you don't get to decide who the First Minister of Scotland is. None of us do. The actual Parliament get to decide that. So much for your democracy. Mr McCormack has told journalists at the weekend that he expected to secure the 100 nominations needed from 20 branches, but this had yet to be officially confirmed. Former Finance Secretary Kate Forbes who narrowly lost to Mr Yousaf in last year's leadership contest, announced last week she would not stand this time and threw her weight behind Mr Swinney. Other leading party figures have also backed his bid. Mr Swinney, who described himself as the candidate to unite the party after a difficult few years, said an election contest would delay the SNP's essential rebuild, but he signalled he would win any potential contest, telling Sky News that party members probably know the outcome between the two potential candidates. Mr Swinney will be named as the next SNP leader, and subsequent Holyrood vote later in the week could see him replace Mr Yousaf as Scotland's first minister. There you go. So, your activist who was demanding democracy and I think, excuse me, he was wanting the constitution of the SNP party held to the letter of the constitution of the SNP party, whereby any potential leader would have to face the members to be questioned and given the right to ask him some questions about his views, which would probably be normal. But SNP, being SNP, they've had a word with the guy and he ain't standing, which I find a remarkable turnaround for such an activist in the SNP, and not just, this isn't his first rodeo. This guy has already, I think it was the chairman, I'm trying to remember what title they give, but he'd applied to do that previously. He spoke at their conventions previously with some ideas, and suddenly this man, who was demanding the SNP members got to quiz any potential leader, has now agreed that the SNP members should not get any chance to quiz any potential leader. I think it's proper SNP behaviour. I'm not shocked or surprised. I was quite enlightened with the guy, to be honest with you, over the weekend when I thought, here's a guy with morals. Here's a guy that's a party member, no more, no less, and just wants the right thing for their members. And that was to be able to quiz anybody who is going to potentially lead their party. I thought, go you. No, I'm saying go you for obviously selfish reasons, because I think it would be quite funny, and it would delay the coronation of Swinney, and that would also delay potentially having a new First Minister in Scotland. But it would have shown up the SNP for what they are. It would also have made public the member numbers, which was a thing I wasn't aware of till Silver Fox highlighted it last week, that if there was a SNP leader competition, then they would have to divulge the numbers so they would know how many votes they were going to get. So these things won't happen anymore. So this guy who was on the right side of common sense and logic, and looking at quite a big move, quite a brave move for an SNP member to not take on the party, but just hold them to account to their own rules and give the members what he felt was the right thing to do, was allow the members to quiz any potential leader. Who wouldn't want that? Who thinks that's a bad idea? But this guy, after one phone call, quite a long phone call with John Swinney, has decided not to do it. So your morals went up the way, your moral status went up the way over the weekend, and has hit the basement today, because the morals were flung out the window after promises from Mr Swinney. So you got promises from Mr Swinney. The SNP members that you were telling us all you were concerned about and doing this for get nothing. They get hee-haw. You promised 100 people that you would get them what they deserved, and that was to question any potential leader. 24 hours later, you've took some bribe, regardless of what it is, even if he's just told you he's going to listen to you going forward. So you've got a benefit out of this. And all these 100 people that signed your wee piece of paper have got hee-haw. Your party has zero morals. So, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you've not already done so, please subscribe and hit the notifications button. And unless you're Swinney, any of the SNP cult, including this activist that was looking alright for a few hours, is now just the same as the rest of them. Everybody else, have a great day. Cheery bye now.